Hi, I'm Marie. Welcome to 50 Plus Gardening. I'm so glad you joined me today for this tour. We're going to have a good time trying to figure out how to get a garden and a tour that has really not much in it. Just the bare minimum. Is it really a garden? Well, we're going to make it one. So let's get started on this tour, and we'll be on our way to making our home and our garden something to behold. Remember, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. So let's just look at the bones of the garden in the winter. It helps to see what exactly you need. More evergreens, more trees, or do you need to dig out or cut back grown shrubs? The hardest time to look at any garden is in the winter. That's when we bought this land. I wanted to see it in its starkest, plain trees with no leaves. So let's start here. I bought this property 1 year ago. It has a natural, borrowed view from my neighbors. So now I can concentrate on elements in my garden that will make me want to come home, enjoy having friends over, and get out and do things in it. The house is a craft house style. Take a picture of your house and each side of your house. Take a good look at what might enhance the structure right away. Not everything needs to be done at once. This is a long-term venture. To get you outside, creating the place outside, and to get it to how you want it to be. Right away, you see the house is on a slope. My house. The front has no sidewalk to it, so I'm leaving that blank for now, and we put in a blacktop, and it will be easier to enter the house from the back. So that's where I will concentrate the most design. I want to see something pretty as I enter. The front of the house, I want it to look pretty, but it will be plants that can be viewed from the street and low maintenance. Here's a bed I put in with red hot pokers and sedums. And on that stump, I'll put a large pot or something. The grass goes up a hill and it's so steep, it's not easy to mow. So I extended this garden space so that you could get the lawnmower around up the hill. It makes it much easier. You may be wondering why I want to keep that stump. Well, I like to work around things that come with the garden first. If I want to take it out later, I can do that. Mulch is a great way to make everything neat and tidy. Cut your perennials back, blow or rake the leaves out of the bed, and it will look good right away. I'll put some creeping phlox around the stump. Nothing that is aggressive, because I already got the red hot poker, the sedum, and I think that'll be good for right now. Make a fence, which is good for deer. We do have deer. And my husband Jeff is starting these the 4x4s to make a picket fence. And my design plan here is you see some patio pieces, so I'll put some patio pieces in the front. I did this design based on Williamsburg. Williamsburg is a beautiful 1776 design of gardening. You need to go there if you've never been there. We used to picnic in their gardens all the time, but they have a lot of gardens with beautiful designs, and I took a few pictures so that I could say this is one of my favorite gardens in Williamsburg, and they have quite a few. If you go there, you take pictures and you may get some ideas for your own garden. But I've decided to do, I love Williamsburg. I've always loved Williamsburg. We grew up down in that area when we first moved to Virginia. I'm patterning this first design after that. It's all in the beginnings. I put down fresh mulch so that you can see the bones. This is where we are. In the wintertime, there's not much to look at, not many flowers, but gives me more ideas. I can sit out here and think of more things to put in. And I base everything around this maple, which I'm not sure if you can see it because it doesn't have hardly any leaves left. But you can see in the center of this Williamsburg design is a tree. So anyways, there's a maple tree that I put in. It's Brandywine maple, and it's going to be my centerpiece. So we started there. I had already put it on before I decided I wanted this design. So that's where I was, and I decided, okay, Williamsburg has it to where they have really tight, beautiful lines, metric design, and so I decided, well, okay, where's my path? And everything that's kind of brown grass, that's going to be bricks, and the mulch will be gardens. And I think because the stone pathways or the brick pathways, they're very narrow, so I decided maybe more ground covers, more edibles, maybe some thyme, sage, anything that stays very small, I'm going to like in this area. So that was my plan here. Is at the beginning I just drew up some strings, moved things around. We measured in the beginning, and even though it was perfectly measured, it didn't look right, so we moved some things just based on how it looked. So basically this is the bones of a garden. I'm starting the back, which is the front of my garden. North side. So, but this is still going to get hit with some hot sun because there's nothing blocking it like a house. When it means north, it's like if there's a structure there, then you're going to get some shade. But out here where this Williamsburg garden is, mostly sun plants, they'll be scorched, especially with the blacktop right next to it. See, the blacktop is right there. So the first thing we had from our old house is we brought in a jacuzzi. Where is it going to be? Well, right next to the house where we can get right in and be fast, because in the wintertime that wouldn't be any fun to have it far away. So this is in the way, and I wasn't sure how big it was going to be, but kind of like it. Gives you a nice little aisle to get in, and the jacuzzi's right there, and we use it regularly, so this was a good place for it. So now I'm at the blacktop still, and here's the jacuzzi, and here's my Williamsburg design. So every time I walk up to this area, I get to see this beautiful Williamsburg, very tight, neat, precise kind of a garden. Try to keep it precise. We'll see how many weeds comes in. So I put a pot there, and there's a drainage under there, so I had to just make some rocks and things to kind of cover it up, but I needed to have that stay, so that would just run down. And I don't really know if this will stay from, sometimes in Virginia we get crashing 10 inches of rain in an hour. I mean, and everything will go down the river, and my neighbor will have all the wonderful mulch that I put in her yard. But for now, it's there. It looks good. I did step on it to make sure it tightened up, but you never know. We are on a hill, so I'm going to see how that works. I put this in so that for now it sort of blocks our neighbors from, having to see our beautiful bathing suits. And I just put in some arborvitaes, which will eventually touch each other and grow up. So there's three here that I put in so that we'd have some privacy. This is like, okay, if there's a private place, this would be it. So, but you can still come into the house this way. Okay, so here's the way to come in. So I'm just going to walk it. And this wall was already here, so even if I don't like the color, sometimes, like I said, if you can live with it for a while, see if that's enough, because remember, everything you do is either something you have to buy, get someone else to do, or you have to do it yourself. So you have to decide how much energy you have to redo something. But you did buy the house based on some cute things that you liked in the beginning, so don't pull out everything right off. This was here. I wanted to make do with what I had, so I instantly thought, okay, here's Williamsburg. Let's blend in some of my new front door, which is the back door, but now it's my front door. And I put some roses, and I put some strawberries. I'm not sure if I'm going to regret that, but I thought, you know what, this is older person. I can easily pick and I'm still standing up. So it was so convenient. I thought, oh, food right off. When you go to the car, if you see something red, you can pick it, eat it, and go on. So I kind of like those strawberries maybe creeping over the side of this walkway. So we'll see how that goes. The shredded mulch seems to be the tightest fit for weed suppression. So that's what I'm going for. So here's some personal items that I brought from other houses that I just threw in. If you have brought some old stuff from another house and you wanted to put it in, just put it somewhere. And if you don't like it, keep moving it until you like it. I don't know if I'll like it here, but I stuck it there to see if this would be a good place. So here again, this is the Williamsburg garden. It's going to have a picket fence, which my husband is working on. And borrowed landscape. Are you kidding? Beautiful. Lovely. One tree that I put in, one bush. And so this is a weird thing that I wanted to talk about. So I'll explain what this is. This would be Williamsburg garden. Come into, what in the world is that? Well, I inherited it with this property. I thought about taking it out, but I'm going to use this. It's a cistern, and we'll go up there a little later, but I'm still going towards my front door. So I'm turning around, and I actually just painted the back. It had screens on it when we first bought it. And we just put on a trim right away to see if this is something I wanted to keep. I will be changing the door probably later on. Put in a little window. Haven't boxed it in yet. This came with, as you can see, the yellow was a lighter yellow, and it didn't match the brick grout. So I love that butter yellow. I think it's really pretty. I've told you before, I love yellow houses with white trim, but I've decided to go with a darker yellow that I actually got some swatches, and it matched the grout in the brick better. So I will be painting that section also in the same darker yellow, and then the white trim. And then this is where you enter the house. So let me back up. I always like to have, if you don't do anything else in the garden, put something right next to it, a pot, large pot. Right now I don't really have anything that I can think that I want in this area, but if you wanted a pot, this is where it would go. And also flowers in the winter. Oh, I have no flowers. I mean, everything is blank. I emptied all my pots, so I have nothing really to look at. So you can do anything you want to this. This is actually a small pot, but if I went and got a bigger pot, I could do a spiller, which comes down the side of the pot, filler, which sort of fills in. These pansies would be a filler. And then you'd have a thriller, which is something rising up. I could have put a arborvitae that's small. You can buy those for like $8 or less. And I could have put that in the middle. But right now, all I wanted is something pretty. I have lots of projects, so I didn't really want to fuss with this. But anything in the front of your front door would just be magic, especially while all we're working with in the wintertime is bones. So now, look at this. We got to walk up. That's why this little handle is here, because I have a cheapskate to get up to my hill. And you've got to have things. You've got to have things to get around. So all right, now we're up on the semi-level, but I still have to go up a little bit more. So this is just a trap so I don't have deer coming in where I had a lot of shrubs and different things that are not deer proof. So I just sort of put this little basket thing. I'm gonna plant here, but I haven't decided. Probably this is the north side of the house, so probably some blueberries so I can have more eating while I come out the door. Something I had to do to all the trees, and you may want to think about this, but I bought these fences online. They're just chicken wire fence. Actually, I'm not sure what the name of it is, but I'm going to show you up close. Some sort of farm wire. It didn't cost too much. I think it was 50 feet for I don't know, $25 on Walmart. I have a Walmart app. Good deal. I just circled all my skinny stick trees. So, I mean, if you've got the money and you want to get a big tree, they probably wouldn't bother it. But I bought a bunch of skinny trees, and the deer took his antlers, took off the, I guess they have like felt or something in between their antlers, and they like to take it off because I don't know what it does to them, but they like to chafe on skinny trees so they can get, that's like a toothpick, it kind of gets in between their antlers, and boom, he shredded one of my sticks which was a maple, and it died. It did not live. I left it until July, and it didn't live, so I had to replace that one. So if you are putting in skinny, brand new trees anywhere in your property, you want to make sure that you circle them with some sort of a wire, chicken wire fencing. This is actually sturdy, so I actually liked it better than like a standard chicken wire. I didn't like that. This is really steady up. They came with clippers, so you cut it, and enough to where they just don't bother it anymore. So I liked it. It was good. So now we come over here. Dun dun dun. What is this? Well, it's a cistern. It was a cistern. We took off this lid, which is, I've got pots, heavy pots under it. It was a very heavy, I could barely even lift the lid, but we looked down under it. It's just a deep hole that would have cost us a lot of money to fill. And so I thought, what can I do with this? Let's just make it vegetables and pots, because it's like having a little patio that I didn't have to build. And I keep all of the deer don't come in here because I have it pretty much caged off. And over here, it's a cliff. So good luck if you want to come up here, but some parts are tall. I didn't have to even really block this section. There's a deep cliff that they would not probably climb up here. The only place they could climb up is right here, but I have rope, so I've not had any deer problems here, because had tomatoes in here earlier this summer, and they didn't get any of them. They didn't bother them. And I also have bought this cage, which came from, I think it's called Garden Supply. I think they had that. And I bought it at another house. I just brought it to this house. But that's cool. So if you have something that bunnies, squirrels, deer, everybody just absolutely loves, you can put 6 pots. These are all empty because I emptied all the stuff I did for summer. But no animals will get in there. So I put that on the cistern, and because one side was more narrow and I wanted to have like a little walkway, I just kind of added these pink bricks were already here. And pink's my favorite color, so even though I may not have picked them, they were here, and it added to this patio, and it gave me extra room. I put all my pots there so they drain really well, and then now I have a place to walk. In the center this is more of my herb garden. Right now I had to pull out several things. That thyme looks like it's on its last legs, but there's chive over there, and some sage and rosemary. And there's rocks all over this garden. I mean, everywhere I dig, there's rocks. So when I find a rock, I put it in my pocket. Always have pockets. And I come up here and I just make the rocks thicker. So wherever I have a pile of rocks, sometimes I'll just put it in a pot, and then when I get enough, I set it somewhere. So I may even put it in my Williamsburg garden somewhere. No, that would look kind of pretty with some rocks here and there. I probably, as you can see, there's lots of fine corners. I probably won't put a plant there, because you know that a plant is going to go and spill over on both sides, and it's a very narrow walkway. So that's where I could actually use some pretty rocks. And I have so many rocks, I don't have anything to worry about. Okay, again, my borrowed view. My dad built that birdhouse before he passed away in 2016, and it sits there with a bluebird is still in it, so I love it. Now that's an old shed. I may or may not change it. It's just a actually I'm not sure, maybe half metal, half plastic. That hides the zero turn John Deere. And so I'm good with it for now, but it's sort of up on the hill. I can't think about that right now. So let's keep going. So I'm gonna climb up the hill, climbing up. We're getting there. Okay, another stump that they left, which is cool. I'm fine with that. It kind of adds like a little table when I want to do something up here. There is my fire pit area that I need a bigger fire pit than that little one could do. So I took the fire pit that they had up there, which was that miniature circle, and and now we had some stumps that were actually movable, so we rolled them to this place, and every time we clip something, we have a nice bonfire and marshmallows or whatever we want to do. Again, some borrowed view. Beautiful weeping willow. This is an area where my neighbor is building a house in the forest, which is going to be great. I can't wait to see that. But they're kind of in the middle of doing all that. This is a plant that I got from Fast Growing Trees, I think it's called, online. And I believe it's called Green Giant. And it's an evergreen. And it's going to get big. It grows fast. But when I first put it in, it was a twig. And that was just, well, it's November right now. I just put these in only, I think, last May is when I got them. And since May, they've grown, I don't know, maybe a foot. It doesn't sound like much, but you know, what's the term? They sleep the first year. They creep the second year, and the third year is what I can't wait for, is they leap. So hopefully this is the sleepy year and we're done with sleep. No more sleeping, but of course they're sleeping during the winter time. I do come up, and I'm like the water lady. I come up here with my 2 buckets full of water, and I do give them water during the winter time. Even though I've closed off my whole system outside, I do give them water from the inside water, and come up here and enjoy the view. It's really still pretty up here. And you can see that I did plant 3 others up here. There's no evergreens on my property, and so I wanted to enjoy a few. They're called Green Giant also. And they are in their infancy, but they will get giant, maybe, I don't know, 20, 30, and maybe 15 feet wide. I don't remember, but I'll look that up if you are interested in that. And then there's another section that I also did, and there's 5 of those. So I have the 5, the 3, the 1, and I have one other one that I'll show you in another section. So we call it the 5-3-1-1. Did you guys water the 5-3-1-1? And then my husband will say, yep, I got to the 5-3-1-1. Or he'll say, I did the 5 and 3, you do the 1-1. Okay, so we all know what we're talking about. So really nice. We are climbing down the hill on the west side of the house. This is a crabapple. This was here. It is really pretty in the spring. Okay, so we're going downhill still. This is the old oak tree. I absolutely adore it. It looks like it's about 100 years old. I can't tell. It looks like it was struck by lightning, but it's still in good shape, and I'm going to keep it. Everything on this side is still really plain. I want to grow a grapevine on this side of the window. It's always nice to have food in your garden. Plus, with grapevines, you can do crafts with the branches. There was a rose bush already here. I will probably make a trellis for it. I call this side the Italian garden because it feels dry, and I put a juniper in from another house, and 3 lavender plants, a grosso, a phenomenal, and a sensational lavender. But they all look similar. Next, I have a Celeste fig tree, more food that will grow, and it's going to grow about 10 feet. It doesn't look good right now, but we'll see if it survives here. So now I'm climbing up another hill. This is the fruit orchard. More eating. All right, 2 pear trees were already here. A sour cherry tree was also already here, and they are large, like 20 feet, so they're big. We put in a drip system so that we wouldn't have to carry water up the hill. Oh, that was a chore in the beginning, so I'm glad to put that in, and we'll talk about that in the spring. We put in a plum tree, we put in a peach tree, and we put in 4 apple trees. It will take 5 years before we get any fruit from any of them. They were all disease resistant, so we'll see how they go and see how they grow. And hopefully the deer won't get them, because I have fenced them in too. As you can see, large fences, and hopefully they won't get them like they did my maple tree. Bad. Now I'm going downhill again from the orchard. This is a giant evergreen. It might be a cedar, but I'm not sure. If you know what it is, let me know. Okay, so now we are back on the south side of the house. That is the front of the house facing the street. So I'm not going to add too many things to the front. It needs to be showy from the street, but low maintenance. I put 2 arbovitas, emerald greens, that will get about 8 feet on both sides of the beds. The front has a row of red hot pokers and the autumn joy. If you put a lot of the same type of plants all the way around your garden, you'll get a showy sweep of color continuity, and it's very impressive. And then against the latticed work, I'm doing Pinky Winky hydrangea because it gets large, and that's all I'm doing in the front. I'm on the fence about painting the bottom part of the cement side of the house and also the stairs. So I may paint it yellow. We'll see. On the other side, we have a butterfly bush, and it's on the southeast side of the house. And it was already here. So, and also the daylilies that are yellow were already here. I put in this crepe myrtle that will get about 20 feet to add some color in the summer and a little bit more shade. Now we come to the east side of the garden, which I call the English garden because it's a mixed border of perennials. And I have another brandywine maple for shade on that side. There are other trees here that are just twigs. You probably can't even tell that they're there. 2 pom-pom redbuds, 1 Japanese maple, another crepe myrtle, a camellia bush that was already here. These gardens are all at the beginning. Not very impressive, but I want to encourage you to get out daily in your own garden. Do a little work on one bed, no more than 2 hours. Mulch for weed control. Get your friends to help if your garden gets out of control. And then stay in the garden through the year so it won't get out of hand again. I hope you enjoyed this tour today. Let's keep moving. Let's keep gardening. And I'll see you next time.